High Admiral Zorath Valen stood rigid before the holographic tactical display, his clawed hands clasped tightly behind his back. His piercing, slit-pupiled eyes scanned the primitive human fleet arrayed before him. The corners of his scaled mouth twitched downward, barely concealing his disdain. "Dirtlings," he muttered under his breath, his voice dripping with contempt. "They call themselves Earthlings. How fitting for such a backward species." Zorath was a proud warrior of the Krylos Dominion, a towering reptilian biped with emerald-green scales and golden, cat-like eyes. His form-fitting void armor, a sleek black ensemble adorned with silver pauldrons and a crimson cape, marked his rank as the leader of the Dominion's 7th Annihilation Fleet. His sharp, serrated teeth glinted as he sneered, and the vibrant orange and yellow frill around his neck flared slightly in irritation. The bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Wrath, hummed with quiet efficiency as his crew worked tirelessly at their stations. Detailed scans of the human fleet filled the display. Zorath's tail flicked impatiently as he observed the enemy ship-sleek, triangular vessels designed for atmospheric flight, their hulls a patchwork of basic composites and metal alloys. "No energy shields," Zorath noted with a derisive snort. "Primitive chemical propulsion systems, railguns and nuclear torpedoes, they might as well be throwing stones." A young tactical officer, whose name Zorath hadn't bothered to learn, cleared his throat nervously. "It's Earthlings, High Admiral. They named their planet Earth, which translates to dirt in their language." Zorath's tail lashed in irritation. These dung-eating primitives couldn't even name their own world properly. How am I supposed to take them seriously? The bridge fell silent, save for the soft hum of the ship's systems. Zorath's second-in-command, Vice Admiral Kralis, stepped forward, his frill twitching with unease. "High Admiral, we should proceed with caution. The humans allied themselves with the Zephyrian Coalition, knowing full well we are at war with them. Either they are foolish beyond measure, or they know something we don't." Zorath waved a clawed hand dismissively. "Look at their fleet, Kralis. They're no match for a single one of our cruisers. The Zephyrians were desperate, but this is an embarrassment." Kralis persisted, his voice steady but urgent. "Every other species the Zephyrians recruited was given advanced technology. Why would they leave the humans with nothing? It doesn't add up. Something is wrong." Zorath paused, considering his subordinate's words. "A trap? The Zephyrian fleets are scattered. Even if they wanted to help, their ships are days away. What could these dirtlings possibly have planned?" Before Kralis could respond, the communications officer interrupted. "High Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." Zorath's lips curled into a predatory grin. "Let's hear what these primitives have to say." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a human admiral. The creature's soft, pink skin and flat face were a stark contrast to Zorath's scaled visage. The human wore a simple uniform adorned with medals and insignia, his expression calm and unwavering. "This is Admiral Marcus Hale of the Terran Defense Fleet," the human began, his voice steady and commanding. "You are in Terran space and approaching our homeworld. Identify yourself and state your intentions." Zorath stepped forward, towering over the human's image. "I am High Admiral Zorath Valen of the Krylos Dominion's 7th Annihilation Fleet. My intentions? To exterminate your pitiful species for daring to ally with the Zephyrian Coalition." Admiral Hale's expression remained impassive. "We may be primitive, but we're not fools. I know an attack force when I see one." Zorath's tail twitched with amusement. "Brave words for a species that still uses railguns. Do you know what a plasma lance does to a ship without energy shields?" "I do," Hale replied, his tone unwavering. "I also know your shields, your weapons, your tactics. But you know nothing about us. You might want to consider that while you still can." Zorath's frill flared in irritation. "You seem remarkably calm for a man whose species is about to be wiped from existence. And you seem remarkably confident for someone walking into a trap," Hale countered. "This is your only warning, High Admiral. Withdraw your fleet, or we will destroy it." Zorath laughed, a deep, guttural sound. "A trap? With what? Your primitive toys? Let's see how brave you are when real weapons start firing." The transmission cut off abruptly, and Zorath turned to his crew. "Prepare for battle. Let's show these dirtlings the price of defiance." As the Krylos fleet advanced, Zorath's confidence began to waver. The human ships held their ground, their railguns firing relentlessly. but it was the sudden appearance of thousands of massive asteroids hurtling toward his fleet at unimaginable speeds that made his scales crawl. "Shielded asteroids?" Zorath growled, his voice tinged with disbelief. "They've turned their own system's debris into weapons." The asteroids, each several kilometers in diameter and moving at a significant fraction of light speed, slammed into the Krylos fleet with devastating force. The Eternal Wrath shuddered as its shields buckled under the impact. Zorath's frill flared in panic as he realized the truth: the humans had outmaneuvered him. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," he barked, but it was too late. The asteroids, guided by advanced Zephyrian technology, adjusted their trajectories with terrifying precision. One by one, the Krylos ships were obliterated, their mighty hulls reduced to molten debris. As the final asteroid bore down on the Eternal Wrath, Zorath transmitted a desperate warning to the rest of the Dominion. "Do not underestimate the humans. They are not what they seem." The asteroid struck, and the Eternal Wrath was consumed in a blinding flash of light. Admiral Marcus Hale watched the destruction unfold from his command center on Luna. The last of the Krylos ships vanished from the tactical display, leaving only debris and silence. "It's done," his tactical officer reported. "The Krylos Dominion's 7th Annihilation Fleet has been eradicated." Hale nodded, a grim satisfaction settling over him. "Send word to the Zephyrians. The gambit worked. The Dominion's fleets are no more." His second-in-command, Lieutenant Commander Elena Drake, grinned. "You're going down in history, sir. They're already calling it Hale's Gambit." Hale groaned. "I didn't do anything special. I just convinced a bunch of aliens to throw rocks." Drake chuckled. "Primitive, maybe, but effective. Brute force isn't always a bad thing, sir." Hale sighed, shaking his head. "Let's just hope the Krylos remember this lesson. Underestimating us was their last mistake." As the Terran Defense Fleet began the arduous task of salvaging what remained of the Krylos ships, Hale allowed himself a small smile. The galaxy would remember this day not as the fall of the Krylos Dominion, but as the rise of humanity.